Greetings, Goddess Body Mind Spirit community. This is Tyra Omilade, your goddess guru, and y'all know I love helping women, the sister friends, the goddesses, align with their life purpose using the power of ancient wisdom and the goddess-centered lifestyle. Y'all, it's time for us to rise up into our power and make it do what it do. All right, how y'all doing out there? I actually have a special presentation for y'all today. I'm going to talk about Mercury retrograde. I was like, oh my goodness. I don't know about the rest of y'all out there, but Mercury retrograde is showing up and showing out. How y'all doing out there? And for all y'all wondering, you did not miss a live stream. I stream these live unlisted and then make them public. I got to really watch my health. This full moon in Pisces was on my sun, about within 3 degrees. That's pretty close. Ooh, child, as we say. And so, yeah, you just got to take it easy. And I have been a little bit extra busy these last few days. My energy, I keep thinking that the moon might kind of like, whenever we have it close to our, especially if it's our ascendant, our moon, or our sun. I don't know. Maybe it just kind of like drains us or something. It throws our energy off for sure. You would think it would not do that, but it does. So yeah, I got to really keep my energy. I got to maintain my energy. I've been helping with a company that I decided to get a certification through. I've been helping with their launch. It's called Sistership Circle, and the same program I went through, How to Lead Circle, they have launched it again, and I wanted to help out. And so, launching in businesses, we have to be real cautious. Oh, so yeah, I gotta watch my health. And so I'm saying all of this. I know it sounds like I'm just rambling, but it's something that y'all need to know. If you know the degree of your moon, your sun, your ascendant, and there is a full moon near that point in your chart, I highly advise you. If you have a full moon birthday, that might be another good way of thinking about it. Then you really have to watch yourself around that full moon. I want to say for like at least 2 months, you got to take it easy. It's something about that full moon energy that it just seems like it wrecks people's immune system. I've seen it happen several times, and it's startling. So yeah, lesson learned. Before I get started, I want to share just a little bit with you all. We have our new moon retreat coming up in Libra. And y'all know I am somebody who lives a goddess-centered lifestyle, and part of the goddess-centered lifestyle is working with the moon. And so when we work with the moon, it's every month we do this, okay? I am all about the lifestyle. And so it's a new moon. That's one reason to come to the new moon retreat. Number 2, it's a Libra new moon. And so, it's like we're kicking off our Libra house. You may not know what does that signify for that area of life, but how do we keep ourselves fresh? How do we keep ourselves constantly growing and evolving and staying on top of whatever the mandate is for us? We live according to this moon. We set new moon intentions. And even if, say, for instance, Libra may be about support. That's my new word. I know folks be talking about this about relationships. It is. But here lately, I'm like, no, it's about get some support. Who can support you? Who can you connect with and collaborate with to get some things done, right? And the question for you is, what area of life do you need to get some support in? These are things that I share. And it's a package, actually. This retreat is not just the day of. It comes with the new moon journal for you to use all month long, because you have to revisit the new moon journal. It comes with the hypnosis track. Typically, I'm going to put either with the hypnosis, I'm going to put either a subliminal or a mindfulness track. I don't know which one it is yet. I'm still creating everything. Yeah, don't worry about this bonus mini Mercury retrograde class. I'm getting ready to do some Mercury retrograde stuff now. But that was from last retro month. I need to update that. I don't know what the bonus mini class is gonna be, but it's gonna be a bonus. Okay. So it's a package that you get along with that live retreat where you with me and the other sister goddesses, right? Where we rest in, renewing, regenerating, and we hugging ourselves and loving on ourselves, all that kind of good stuff. So please the link in the description box will get you that early bird discount, and that's going to be until the 20th, I think is when I put it in there. For the 20th you get the early bird discount. Doesn't matter if you buy an early bird or not, is whatever you spend on it, you getting your money's worth and then some. So I have that along with if you are interested in learning more about the spiritual aspirant initiation, the enrollment is opening soon. The wait list is open, so you can join the wait list to make sure that you get on that. What is the spiritual aspirant initiation? It is a tried and true initiation where you will have the opportunity to continue to craft and hone your your spiritual path. I was going to say your goddess centered lifestyle. That's what I promote. It is about living more according to your divine feminine energy. Um, and you do get guides. It's amazing to me how a lot of what I do is online. My godmother, I started out doing this with her. We did do a lot of stuff in person, and I didn't think it was going to translate to me doing all, working with sisters online, but nah, this is a real initiation. So yeah, come learn more about that. But the way you'll find out once I start talking about that is going to be through getting on the wait list if you want to make sure you don't miss it. Hey, y'all, I was updating my website, and I was just really excited that I could add some of my Instagram feed on here. This one right here is about Mercury retrograde, which is why I'm here today. So this is the cheat sheet that I create. I created it for when I had the membership. I am going to make sure I drop this into the um well, I'm going to drop this into, if you were in the Virgo retreat, I'm going to drop this into the Virgo retreat for you, because I did not get that mini class in there for y'all. It was other stuff that was there, y'all. Trust me, it was good, but I don't want to make good on my word, and I'm going to drop something special. It's a Mercury retrograde cheat sheet. Y'all will get that too. So this is a cheat sheet that I'm going to use to go through what is this Mercury retrograde meaning for everybody. It's a little bit complicated because Mercury is retrograding in two signs. So it's like I have to talk about two different things. But really what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go a little bit through the signs. Really just I'm going to focus on Libra, Mercury retrograding in Libra. Here, I'll go into Virgo in the thing that I make for the sisters who are in the Virgo retreat. But there's one aspect that I think is really gonna give us a run for the money. I'm like, this Mercury retrograde is not playing, and I could already feel it beforehand. But we'll go through the houses, and let me get my other little cheat sheets. Are they in there? Yeah. Oh my goodness, y'all. I don't feel well. Oh my God. Oof. Okay. I'll just take it real easy, okay? Yeah. Okay. So, mm, first, what we're going to do is we're going to look here to see what is Mercury doing. So I touched on this in another video. Um, so Mercury went retrograde on Friday, and it went retrograde on the 8th degree of, okay, so I want to make sure I pull this over here. It went retrograde on the 8th degree of Libra. So if you have anything at 8 degrees of Libra, um, Aries, Cancer or Capricorn, then you pay attention because you really feeling this. You really, really feeling this. Okay. So it went retrograde on the eighth degree. So the eighth degree of Libra coincides with number one, it's in Libra. So it's all things Libra. What is Libra? It's relationships, it's support, it's typically one-to-one relationships. It also could have to do with, man, maybe I should not have gotten on talking right now. My mind is, like, messed up. Okay, hold on one second. One-to-one legal affairs, that's what I was gonna say. It has to do with legal affairs. Um, Also, it has to do with things that need to be refined. I think that would be a key. Relationships, support, what needs refining. So you want to be thinking about that kind of thing, okay? And then um it is in the first decan. So the first decan is Libra, okay? It's we use degrees to help us understand things in astrology. So that's number 2. So that's a very Libra themed Mercury retrograde because it's got 2 hits of Libra. Now, the last thing that we look at is like the actual degree. So the eighth degree. So that's going to be, hold on one second, Libra, Scorpio, not this one, Sag. Okay, so it's gonna have Sag energy, which is interesting because Sag energy is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is, or yeah, Sag and Jupiter, they are connected. So Sagittarius is about, oh, this is so interesting. Sagittarius is about like, what are you thinking about? What are you, um, let's see here. What are you, it's about philosophy and um being able to see into the future. It's about goals. And so maybe our goals need to be refined. That might be something to think about. We need to refine our goals. Another thing is it could be about foreign travel. Um, it could be about studying something. What is it that we need to study? So I do think that it could be that like our paradigm is shifting around relationships. That's one way we can kind of think about it. It's like our mind, because that's Mercury. Our mind will be thinking about how can I refine this? How can I refine my goals? Maybe it's like I need relationships that are going to take me into another level. It's going to take me towards my goals. Or maybe you come up with some new goals, new paradigms, new philosophies around relationships. Um, and again, this word refine, I think is so, so important for us to be thinking about. So maybe you need to refine your thinking. Maybe you need to refine your thinking. um, I had written some notes down last week, actually. So with Mercury retrograde, opposition Jupiter. Jupiter is the higher mind. And so I think it's important that um, we balance like our higher mind, which is that belief system. It's the mind that is the vision. That might be another thing that we want to think about. It's like, does the vision need to be refined? Now that one just hit me right there. Does the vision need to be refined? Um, does the philosophy need to be refined? But what the problem might be is folks are getting lost in details at times. And then other times they're not taking into account any details. and they are just all out there in the sky. They see the vision, but they're not thinking about like what are the actual steps. See, Jupiter and Mercury, they actually are like opposites because Jupiter can see the vision, Sag can see the vision, but it doesn't always come up with the plans. You know, a lot of times there are people who are really good at visioning things, but they do not do a good job of executing it and making it happen. Whereas, you know, Mercury is kind of like some of us may be sitting around knowing there's a vision that we have, but all we're doing is like, well, okay, I got to get this detail together and that detail together and this detail together. And it's like all these details, all these tasks need to get done, you know, and they're not getting done. So these are things that I think we might be thinking about, and it might be like, you know, with this Libra energy with Mercury retrograde is asking us to create more of a balanced approach. Um and with Jupiter being in Aries, it's like, no, seriously, you really need to take some action. It might be like, you know, all this thinking that we're doing, but there is no action. We may even know the details, but we're not taking any action on it. Maybe we're not taking any action on it because we don't have relationships that are supportive, or we don't, you know, we don't have the right kind of support. We don't have the right kind of relationships. We might need to refine the relationships that we're in order to get to where we want to go. But there's definitely like this Mercury retrograde is a trip because Mercury is oppositioning Jupiter. This is going to be two times that it does it. It's already done it once. Mercury opposition Jupiter. When did that happen? It happened on around the last little bit of August into the first part of September. It was Mercury opposition Jupiter. So we already had a taste of it. If you can remember what happened to you on around the last part of August, first part of September. What do you remember was happening around that time? Because it is going to come back up for review. Oh, the other thing I wrote was um is thinking plaguing your progress? Are you dealing with stinking thinking? And Jupiter actually will kind of like push you to maybe be more optimistic. And so it's like whenever you're thinking about your vision, what are the thoughts that are going through your mind? I think that's really important for us to look at. Let me see here. What else? Oh, I wrote down also, do you need to set up some accountability? It's like you know what actions to take, you're taking actions, but maybe you're getting distracted. You know, maybe, you know, another thing that you might be doing is you are like overbooking yourself. You're saying, "Oh, I'm going to do this, this and this." You're overbooking yourself, and so yeah, that's something to think about. Um okay. So, let's see here. So Mercury is going to be opposition Jupiter 3 times. 3 times. And I tell you, I do believe that it can be related to really a lot of technological issues until Mercury goes into Virgo. And the reason I say that is because Aries is actually a sign that has to do with technology. Okay. That does have to do with technology. And another thing too, okay, so, you know, Mercury opposition Jupiter in Aries. that can create some tech issues. The other thing is that Jupiter makes everything bigger, whatever it touches. And then we even have, Mercury, the eighth degree being about Sag, that blows stuff up. So I think that this particular aspect between Jupiter and Mercury, which it just seems like it's not actually going to go away, it's going to be here until Mercury actually goes back into Virgo. Um, Yeah. Um, then we will have to understand that it's really amplifying Mercury retrograde. That might be why we are feeling Mercury retrograde so tough. I'm like, who ticked off Mercury? Like, what? I'm calling Mercury Big Mama, and I know Mercury is not looked at as a feminine planet. It's actually you could say it doesn't really have a gender, even though most people define Mercury as masculine. Um, but oh my gosh, I'm like, what is going on? And now that I'm looking at it more closely, yeah, Jupiter makes everything. It expands everything. Okay, so um, Mercury retrograde got a nice little boost because it matches where Mars is, even though they're not together. We can say just kind of like a sign based situation. Gemini's air, Libra's air. So that's um that's interesting. And um but we have here, let's see here. No, 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 no. I thought there was something else coming there. That's coming from Mars, yeah. So yeah, but still Mars, even though it's trining Mercury retrograde, it just really adds a lot of energy. It really energizes this Mercury. So yeah, that's something to think about. So I had said that what I was going to emphasize is this Mercury opposition Jupiter. So it's gonna opposition Jupiter again. Uh yeah, down here. Let's see here. We'll start feeling this Mercury opposition Jupiter easily, like around, this Thursday. We'll start feeling it again. And when did I tell y'all? You want me to tell you something else that I need to re-emphasize? Is Mercury went retrograde on the 9th. And so we're in what is called the storm period. So it's out of the storm period on the freaking 14th. This is gonna be I'm just gonna go to sleep. Oh, okay. So it's gonna really start coming out of storm around really the 15th. And then on the 15th, I'm telling y'all, we will be feeling this around the 15th. Mercury is oppositioning Jupiter. Okay, let me see here. I do a lot of this cold, y'all, because if I had to prepare too much, let's see here. Let me tell you when it's gonna be the harshest. Yeah, we'll for sure Jupiter. We'll for sure start feeling it around. Yeah, I'm just gonna say the 15th, um, 15th, 16th. We'll feel that. And so it'll feel like we never come out of the storm period because sometimes it's like there's a time when Mercury retrograde kind of settles down, and that's once we get out of the storm period. But it'll feel like the storm period is just going on and on and on because Mercury is gonna um, it's gonna opposition Jupiter. And when it's oppositioning Jupiter, it's just expanding. Whatever is coming up for us is just gonna expand it. Um, Now Mercury goes into Virgo on the 23rd, and that's when things change a bit. Okay, that's when things change a bit. Let's see here. What date is this? September 12th. Okay, so let's put in Let me put in 1 week and see what that pulls up. Around the 19th. Yeah, that's when Mercury and Jupiter, they just doing the most. This ain't fair. Make sure it's not throwing off my internet. Let's see here. The 20th. Yep. I mean, y'all, wow. Maybe around the 21st, we'll start feeling like we're getting a little bit of a break. I really wanted to give y'all the best news. Let's see here. So on the 29th, the 22nd, the sun is at 29 degrees of of Virgo, which is like not always the best situation. But you know, whew, that's gonna be a real interesting day. I'm putting this is crazy. Mercury's at 0 degrees of Libra and the sun is at 29 degrees. That's interesting. Okay. That's really, really interesting. Um, so one more day and they switch places. Mercury's at 29 degrees of Virgo and the sun is at 0 degrees of Libra. Y'all need to hunker down. Everybody needs to just hunker down. Okay. Wowzers. But for sure, Mercury is not interacting with Jupiter. But what I do want to say is that's still going to be like a little bit of a tricky time for us because we got the moon in Virgo, we got Venus in Virgo, we got Mercury in Virgo and the 29th degree. And all of that is opposition, even though the moon is not exact. But anywho, opposition Neptune. So Virgo and Neptune, they're opposite to each other. That's in and of itself, it's messy. Okay. It can be messy. But Virgo and Pisces, they are mutable signs. Mutable is changeable. And Neptune is sort of like it creates a fog. Okay. And so these mutable energies create the situation where it's kind of like you don't really know what's what, right? You don't really know what's what. And so um that's a mix. That's a mix right there. That's a mix. But to add to it, we got Mars down here in Gemini. And so, wow. Gemini is also mutable. So around the 23rd, I would say is an important time to, like I said, I just think this Mercury retrograde, everybody just needs to lay low and take it easy. Okay. Lay low and take it easy. I think that's a time where it's like you have to check and triple check. You have to be careful and make sure that people are not trying to scam you. You want to make sure you don't lose anything. Whew. Okay. Let's see here. Mercury is on the 28th degree. And now what I do like about that is it is interacting with Pluto up there in Capricorn at that point. So that's bringing a little bit of ease and flow. I'm not going to count Jupiter in the North Node, but it is bringing some ease. It's bringing some flow. It's bringing good energy, like in terms of, I think it'll be the kind of energy that will help us to be able to, excuse me, that will be able to help us to like really maybe go back and figure out the plan. It's like I had the plan, but I didn't follow the plan. Um, or refine the plan, revise the plan. I think it'll be something like that. Okay. But what's mixed up in this is now the sun is opposition Jupiter. So we dealing with the sun in Libra, which, is largely about the relationships and support, um, legal cases, balance, harmony. These are things that are important. The sun is in Libra, and it's opposition Jupiter, which is in Mars. Now, Jupiter is retrograde. So, whatever your Mars house is about, or let's just say what Mars is about, we're going to say Mars is about the body, it's about some new beginning. Okay. And so it's a lot mixed up in there with that Jupiter. This Jupiter is really like not playing. It's not playing with us. Um and it's Venus has been a powerhouse this year, and I think Jupiter might be the second powerhouse of the year outside of like Uranus and Saturn. Of the visible planets, I'm giving Jupiter and Venus a lot of credit. So I'm going to tell you how I see this. I feel like blessings abound, but it's only going to come from some internal work. Like, you need to be doing your spiritual studies, doing your mindfulness practices, and um, doing your what else would Jupiter be? Jupiter would be like expanding, right? Mercury would be like working on your skill set. So both of these planets have to do with learning. It's like you're going to have to really give something in order to reap some benefits. And Jupiter in Aries means action is required. It's just like there is no getting away from that. Action is required. But with all this emphasis in Libra, Libra is about support. Libra is about balance. Libra is about refining things. It is an artsy sign also. So maybe there's some creativity that we need to be tapping into to make some things happen. The other thing that it just straight up could be is it's going to be a lot of messiness in relationships, or it'll feel more difficult to negotiate maybe. But I want us all to remember that we are here to experience the greatness of the time space, continuum, to be in this physical reality. And so these are the kinds of things that we have happening to us because our souls know that we are here to grow, that we're here to learn things, to experience things, to evolve. We're here to self-realize, and we're here for self-mastery. And so the best thing we can do is to be mindful, is to I talk about, my framework, and that includes awareness. Awareness is key. Um, and I just and so we want to approach this time with awareness. And one of the things I said in the video that I made today is I don't want us to be walking around like, oh my God, Mercury retrograde. Oh girl, it's just Mercury retrograde. Like, I've had some stuff happen. I'm like, Mercury retrograde. It's just Mercury retrograde. It's like, keep calm. It's Mercury retrograde. Like, oh, that's right. It's Mercury retrograde. Let me slow down. It's like, let me use it to remind myself of what this time is about, right? But and I think that's fair. But the thing is, are we really gonna learn? Are we really gonna get the meaning, the message of this time? Okay. Mercury is about revising. So once Mercury retrograde goes back into Virgo, then and it's there with Venus for a little while, then it's like, hey, we need to be revisiting Virgo topics, because Virgo has been a part of so many of these moons that we've been having here lately. Um, so, it'll be going back into that area. So, yeah. these are the things I want us to think about. This is not gonna be a fun Mercury retrograde. I do think it would be good for us to laugh, like today. I don't think about my mailbox too much. I'm not really like a mailbox, I'm not like a stickler about mailboxes like some people are. We This house is 20 something years old, and you know, the mailbox has always been here, right? These mailboxes survived when other people's mailboxes haven't for whatever reason. And it was so strange because this morning, for some reason, I looked at the mailbox and I was like, I don't know what the thought was, but I remember landing in the spot of, I'm fascinated that I have my original mailbox and none of the neighbors around me or in front of me have their original mailbox. I got mine, they don't have theirs. I was like, that is like the weirdest thought. Why am I thinking about this mailbox? I don't think like that. I just shook it off. Well, as I was walking, we had boarded my dog because we went away for the weekend, and I was gonna go get my dog. And had I remembered this thought, I would have probably spoke up more, but I didn't remember the thought about the mailbox until afterwards. This delivery person was like turning around in the middle of the street instead of turning around in the cul-de-sac or in somebody's driveway, turning this van around in the middle of the street. And I was like, hey, you about to hit my mailbox. I thought he saw me, and because he stopped and started moving forward. Sure enough, he just backed on up like there's no mailbox there. Like, you're not turning around in the middle of the street. Sure enough, bumped into my mailbox. I was like, you hit my mailbox. Oh my gosh. I like to think and look, what is Mercury? Mercury is delivery people. Trust and believe. And he was so mercurial. This little white guy, thin and talking to himself because he was like, oh, if I get fired, it's okay. And he was like, I'm sorry. But at the same time, he was like, it's not messed up, trying to keep his job on the phone with dispatch. So I was just like, oh my gosh, Mercury retrograde. I wasn't expecting this today, but then afterwards I thought about like, okay, I'm supposed to go get my hair cut in the morning, but I'm just not going to do it. I don't feel well, and I got to take care of myself. I'm not. If I have to pay because I didn't show up, whatever. I'm not gonna go get my hair cut. Okay, let me see here because I didn't want this to be very long. So I'm just gonna say really quickly what this is about for each sign. Here we go. Through the cheat, through the signs. So I'm only gonna do the Virgo because that's just yeah. I'm only gonna do the Virgo. So for Aries, this is affecting your seventh house. Okay, and can you see it? Your seventh house. So this has to do is pretty much like everything that I said. It will be pretty um exact for you. Now there's some new start that Virgo. Let me see here. It's gonna be a new start that maybe Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn have. You started this, but something has to be revisited with this. It's like you have to start again, or you got to go back and do something that didn't get done in the beginning. All four of those signs, because these houses that is happening in for you all have to do with change and transformation. Okay. So I think for y'all, it will be like the Aries really will have to look at balance, but also, this thing with relationships. And I think also for Aries, you really need to be looking for support. Now, for Taurus, this is happening in your sixth house. Now, the sixth house has to do with it's like a very Virgo-esque thing. So when I was talking about, working on your health and your wellness, it could have something to do with the workplace, like the systems and how things work. Oh my gosh, that is so me because I'm a Taurus moon. It could be for your moon, sun, or ascendant, um, for any of the signs that I go through. Um, but yeah, looking at that, looking at health, look at me. I'm a Taurus and I'm like, I'm not feeling well. But yeah, so that's something. that Tauruses need to be focused on these themes that I have. Oh, also something with pets and maybe being of service of some sort. You might go back and the thing I want y'all to keep in mind too with all of this is like this thought of the vision and then all the tasks or the paradigm or the goals, let's say the goals and the task. Um your like your philosophy about health versus your mindset about health because this Mercury retrograde has to do with the philosophy versus the mindset. Okay. Let's see here. Gemini, this is your fifth house. So for Geminis, this might have something to do with children, hobbies, dating. Um, oh, also it has to do with like your natural intelligent, your natural gifts and talents. And so maybe you're struggling a little bit, Gemini, with expressing these gifts and talents. You know, that you may have a goal for it, but then you're like, well, I don't really know how I'm gonna get there. Or you know the steps that you need to take, but you don't have your why straightened out. You haven't gotten your why together. Maybe you started something, some creative endeavor, and you need to go back and revisit it. Of all the signs, Geminis may have some X's coming through. Um, or it's like Gemini should have took a vacation. You didn't take a vacation, so now you're gonna go take a vacation. I think about my son who's Geminian, and he's gonna be going to a concert that initially he thought he wasn't gonna go to, but now he's gonna go to it. So yeah, that's cool. So yeah, Geminis may need to go have a little bit of fun during this time. Again, for Cancerians, this is something that is it's something about a new beginning that happened, but you're gonna go back and revisit this new beginning. And so, but it also has something to do with home and family. Maybe you started a project in the home and you didn't finish it. You want to go back and finish it. But what's keeping you down is, you got the vision, but you haven't figured out all the, steps, or the steps, but you just don't feel inspired by the vision. Something like that. Um, it also has to do with your emotions. So, maybe there's some revisiting of Mercury has you doing some inner work. And yeah. Okay, so for Leo, this is your third house. So for the third house, I would say definitely there's probably something that you need to finish in terms of like some type of class, something you're learning. And the other thing I would say about this is class. Now, y'all may really be struggling with this mind thing, like the lower mind versus the higher mind, next limiting belief system versus the expansive, paradigm, or limiting beliefs versus the entire paradigm. So I do think that Leos are being asked to go in a new direction, but some of your mindset might be holding you back, and this Mercury retrograde is going to kind of help you. And some of y'all may actually need to get some support, some help. Maybe you need some support or help in what you're finishing, learning. And it also could have to do with siblings, day-to-day operations, like how you move and get about. Leos, I'm telling you, let me go back. Cancerians and Leos, y'all need to be very cautious with your cars, with transportation, because the fourth house and the third house have to do with that. For Virgo, second house. Oh, Virgos will be revisiting topics regarding money, self-worth, self-value, what you're eating, how you take care of yourself, even your stuff. It might be, let me see here. This Mercury retrograde may have you like there was something you wanted, you didn't get it. Um, and you're gonna go back and get it. But with it being opposition, it could be like your personal income opposition, um, other people's income. It's like something a push and pull regarding income. It might even be you looking at your money versus your partner's money and just being like, this ain't adding up. Oh, okay. I'm like trying to figure out, is everything, oh yes, okay. Is every and this is not adding up. We need to come up with a new way of doing money. That might be something that the Libras are looking at. It may not be like your life partner. It could just be somebody who you have shared resources with. It could just be a lot of that coming up for the Virgos. But I do think the Virgos are going to have to really look at how are they taking care of themselves, because Virgo's actually a little bit of workaholic. So yeah, I can see that being something that Mercury is like. You have to really look at, this philosophy that you have, this work-life balance thing going on. Now, Libras, again, it's the first house. So for you, it is definitely this energy that has to do with, your life is heading in a new direction, and Mercury retrograde maybe is going to help you to refine it. You thought you were supposed to go in this direction, you are, but there's something new that needs to happen. So, yeah, I think that's important for the Libras. Also, something with your body. Libras may be revisiting topics regarding the body. And you may actually be looking quite a bit at the relationships also, kind of like, maybe I need to change my philosophy, or, maybe I have some limiting beliefs about myself and that's impacting my relationships. It could be something like that. For Scorpio, this is happening in your 12th house. So for the Scorpios, I would say, this is really going to be bringing up quite a bit in your subconscious mind. Now, Scorpios might have to really look at work-life balance. I know me as a Scorpio, that's something that I am definitely having to look at, work-life balance. When I don't know what to do, I just work. um, maybe Scorpios were supposed to get away, and it's going to come back to them like, oh yeah, that's right, I need to get a break. Scorpios really need to be looking at themes around getting away, and you know, taking that, maybe even sleep. This might be a retrograde. Ooh, and I just canceled my sleep course. Oh my God. I'll fix it, universe. I had a sleep course, but it was starting to conflict with some meetings and I didn't want to miss it. And so I canceled it. But oh my gosh, maybe I should not have done that. Anywho, so yeah, for the Scorpios, it's definitely some healing that needs to take place. Maybe you need to be looking at, maybe there were some spiritual practices that you needed to do. Something spiritual needs to be revisited. And just this push and pull between rest, work, rest, work. Okay, Sagittarius, this is happening in your 11th house. Now, what I love about this for Sagittarius is it could be that you are going to come into some money that you thought you had missed. So, you know, maybe you were supposed to make some money and the opportunity went away. Maybe you just didn't get paid, something like that, but then the money is going to come your way. Um, and it also may make you look at like, how much am I being on center stage? Because one of the houses that's lit up is about you, shining and allowing your natural brilliance to come through. And it's really interesting because Jupiter is in your fifth house of Aries, which it could be really expanding your ability to stand out. And so maybe there's going to be some, you might have to kind of like struggle, which Sagittarius typically don't care about standing out. But there may be something about Sag that is struggling about standing out. Maybe they don't really want to get out and broadcast their message. Like if you give them a mic, they're going to be good, but they don't really want to like be too out there too much or something like that. But Sages are really being asked to, yeah, maybe consider how do you get your message out? Um, because you are being asked to speak up, Sag. I know y'all had a rough year last year, but you know, this isn't is it just this is just what's happening for y'all right now. You got to go on ahead and speak up. But I think it'll really pay off. So that's the trade-off for you going on ahead and pushing yourself out there a little bit more. This is happening in the 10th house for Capricorn. So what I love about this for Capricorn is it can help you look at what you need to do in order to stand out. Because Capricorn is not actually a sign that really likes to shine too much. I noticed the earth signs don't exactly like to shine. They get just kind of show up, they do their job. It doesn't matter what their other planets are, what their rising sign is, or whatever. They do not like to stand out too much, but they are of excellence. That's something I noticed about earth signs. Earth signs are so good at earthing it. Okay. They know what to do. We know what to do because I'm an earth sign. Um, but I do think that Capricorn wants more success and it will be coming to you, Capricorn. So this is a good time for you just to kind of be like refining some things that will help to make when you start going in this new direction, when these eclipses come into Libra next year, you have done everything you have completed all missions up to now because you're back up, Capricorn. Capricorn, Cancer, Libra, and Aries, y'all back up for change and transformation next year. So I actually think that this eclipse is helping us all in that way. But yeah, Capricorn, I think it's asking you to go back and really consider what do you want to be known for? Are you known for what you want to be known for? Do you have some limiting beliefs and that's keeping you stuck in one place? Um, there is this push and pull between maybe home and family or your emotions and your drive to succeed. Um, and so Mercury retrograde may have you reviewing these topics that are all things. It's some new direction Capricorn has been going in. Let me say it that way. Capricorn's been going in a new direction. And so you're going to revisit it. And part of what you're going to revisit is what are your limiting thoughts about it? What is the vision that has been set forth for you? Maybe, it's some conflict between work and like where you're going to live. Is work asking you to go someplace new, but you don't want to leave, where you live. But you have to remember, Capricorn, action is required. And this is an opportunity for you to get all those steps together. If you've gotten lost in the shuffle, get all the steps together, Capricorn. I said I wasn't going to do a long time, but look at me. Okay. So for Aquarius, this is the 9th house, which I sort of like for you, Aquarius. Let's see here. That would be the Leos and the Aquariuses. It's like definitely looking at your philosophy, looking at your limiting belief systems. Now, actually, Leos may feel like they want to do more. They may say things like, "Oh, that's right. I need to make a few small trips. I need to do some travel." And Aquarius is like, man, I really want to get away. I want to go visit someplace, go far away and visit another country, another culture, or something like that. So, yeah, Mercury retrograde could be bringing that back to you. Definitely something that you may need to finish learning. Now, the other thing is writing. Maybe some of the Aquariuses need to finish writing a book or something like that, and the Leos need to finish writing something also. Maybe you've written something and it needs to be refined. It needs to be revised. Let me see here. But it's definitely a time where Aquariuses will definitely be in their heads, really chewing on having a lot of thoughts, really going over maybe some conversations that have happened, but you'll just really you're already in your head. You're really going to be in your head quite a bit. You might actually really need to take some mental health breaks. Um, Another thing about ninth house is it's about a teacher, a guru. So maybe you're that teacher, you're that guru. You need to revisit something about, you doing that kind of work, or revisit any teachings from like your gurus. It could be spiritual gurus or just like the masters that you've learned from in your career or something like that. And of course, last but not least is Pisces. This is happening in your 8th house. And Pisces struggle with being out of balance. That's it. Like the house, the sign that has to do with relationships is in the 8th house. Part of the reason that Pisces, first of all, might really get transformed through relationships. And Pisces actually needs relationships in order to stay on point. But it also could be Pisces gets traumatized through relationships. So those kind of topics may come up for Pisces. But I think for Pisces, the sign that has to do with balance is on what we call a dark house. And so I think for Pisces, it's just really going to bring up topics of how imbalanced or out of balance are you, looking at money issues also, actually, like Virgo was looking at money, debt, partners' money that you don't earn it, but you need to, it's like some negotiation, some talking. Maybe there is going to be like this same discussion as Virgo. Let's look at the money and let's talk about, how, like, we need to have a new way of doing this money thing, a new way of talking about it. It's all on my toes. Oh my gosh. Okay. So that's everybody. Let me see anything else. Second and third. Yeah. So Pisces might be feeling like they're making a lot of money, or yeah, there's this pull between your money and other people's money. This is going to be coming up big and tough. I want Pisces to appreciate Jupiter being in that second house. Now, Pisces, you might be feeling like your money is looking a little bit funny because Jupiter is retrograde. First of all, that's your sign. Your planet. So whenever our planets are retrograde, we feel retrograded. So it's important for the Pisces, and I'm also say the Virgos, to really go deep inside and do some money, like work on your abundance consciousness, work with your money mindset. That's something else. So that's what I have for you all today. Thank y'all for being here. I am going to go on ahead and just really take it easy because, oh my God. Whew, I did not feel well. I guess I'll just say I'm being honest because I always like to bring the positivity, but I'm bringing the truth. Thank you all so much. I hope that y'all are going to join me for the New Moon Retreat, and I hope that y'all are going to join me for the Spiritual Aspirant when I open that up. Even if all you do is just come learn more. Come. If you have been in the Spiritual Aspirant initiation, I would love it if you would help other folks understand what it's about. Join me in the launch, just like Azizi did last time. All right. Thank y'all so much. Take care. And hopefully I'll see y'all this week, because if I don't feel well, I'm going to be limiting how much I get on. Take care. We got this Mercury retrograde with grace and ease. Plus, we slowing our butts down. So Mercury retrograde sees we putting some respect on its name. Love y'all.